My search for a new crossbow, my quest for a successor to Bunjie continues. And I hope you're enjoying this series of videos. I want you to know I appreciate all the comments that I've had. You guys have sent me emails off the deathbybungie.com website. I've gotten voicemails from you as well. And I've gotten a whole bunch of comments here on the videos that I've done on YouTube. This whole search has been a lot of fun, and I'm happy to involve you in it, and I welcome your feedback. One of the comments I've gotten repeatedly from friends of Bunjie, and I appreciate this very much so, is that I should stick with a Recurve, stick with an Excalibur because of the advantages that it offers. And over I hear repeated some very good true words, such as they're reliable, you can change the string in the field, it's dependable, it's easy to work on, you can do the maintenance yourself, you don't have to worry about timing issues with the cams or anything like that. All good points. They're important to me because on 2 occasions that I can remember going to Maryland when I go on the road to hunt, I have had 2 occasions where I've had to change the string out on the road. So that is something that actually happens. It is something that's important to me, the ability to do these things in the field. But one of the things as I've looked at new crossbows more and more, looking at different brands and models, I am amazed at how the difference between compounds and recurves has diminished. When I bought my crossbow, when I bought Bunjie back in 2010, it was very important to me to have a low maintenance crossbow. I wrote about that in my book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story. Check it out if you haven't already. But in that book, I talk about how that was a very important feature to me. I was amazed to see how much the compound crossbow manufacturers have caught up. When I look at the Mission crossbows, for example, they have almost a built-in bow press. Back that bolt right out of there, and it will hold the bow in a certain position so you can make those changes to the cable and to the string. Scorpion, you just basically pull the string back, put the tool in the right spot there, and you can actually take the string off, change your string, change your cable, the whole bit. That's pretty cool. So these manufacturers have addressed that difference and sort of chipped away at one of the advantages of the Recurve. When I first got into crossbow hunting, now over 11 years ago, one of the big advantages of the Recurve at the time was that you could uncock your Recurve crossbow. That makes a lot more sense to me than carrying a special arrow into the woods or carrying a target into the woods and shooting it at the end of the day. I don't want to do that. I don't need that extra gear. I was really impressed by the fact that you can simply uncock the Recurve crossbow. Well, now you can uncock just about all of the compound crossbows these days. Pretty much that's a non-issue. They've completely caught up on that. In fact, when I watch the videos of the Mission crossbows, uncocking those, it's actually easier to uncock or decock that crossbow, a compound crossbow, than it is to uncock either of the Excaliburs that I'm using. But here's where compound bows have not only caught up, but I think they're getting ahead of the game. The compound bows now, you can still cock a lot of those without a crank system installed. Now that's not true of the new Raven R500E, but to shoot 500 feet per second, I get that you're gonna need an external device to cock that crossbow. But with a lot of the 400 feet per second compound crossbows, you can cock them with a rope. Genevieve's crossbow, Bunjie Jr., requires a cocking device in order to properly cock that crossbow. That came up a few times this past season. And even spending some time with her in the backyard shooting crossbows, it does take a while for her to cock this crossbow. It does take a few minutes, really, to properly and safely cock this crossbow and prepare it for a shot. That is one of the reasons probably that Excalibur came out with a twin strike. That way you don't have to sit around and mess around with a cranking device in order to cock your crossbow. You can just load 2 arrows and be ready to go. I guess that's the Recurve answer to that question. In order to get modern speeds out of a crossbow like this, you have to have a 285-pound draw weight, and in the case of this small crossbow shooting 350 feet per second. With the compound crossbows, on the other hand, the Scorpions, for example, you can have a draw weight as low as 140 pounds and still shoot around 400 feet per second or better. If you can do that at 140 pounds, you can still cock it with a rope cocking device. That's pretty cool. I think the days of cocking the Recurve crossbows with a rope cocker are gone. When you combine all of this with the fact that your compound crossbows offer greater speeds, and your compound crossbows are typically quieter than your recurve crossbows. I mean, some of these crossbows now are they're still allowed by, compound bow standards, but we're getting to the point where one video I watched recently, the guy shooting the crossbow said it sounds like a pillow. I mean, I don't know if it's that quiet, but if you can even use the word pillow and crossbow in the same sentence, that is a remarkable achievement. It is a much quieter crossbow than the crossbows with which I am familiar. None of this should be a surprise. I mean, when you look at crossbows, the vast majority of crossbows are compound crossbows. It's a simple machine, right? The cams are. I mean, this is simple machinery, technology making things better, right? In certain ways. The recurve technology is ancient technology. It's the original crossbow technology. There's nothing wrong with that. And I am not telling you right now that my mind is made up one way or another about what crossbow that I am going to go with for the upcoming crossbow seasons. My mind's not made up. I haven't bought one yet. I saw some comments. Somebody's like, he's getting ready to do the unboxing video already on this thing. But I haven't actually purchased one nor made up my mind on which one I'm going to go with. In fact, I haven't even got to the point where I've gone out and tried any of them yet. Until that happens, not going to be making up my mind. But this has been a huge eye-opener for me, looking at these other models and watching video after video and discussing it with friends of Bunjie, discussing it with you, and discussing it with Genevieve. I hope you'll stick around for the rest of this crossbow conversation, and I hope that your crossbow conversations are going well in the meantime. Until the next video, until the next time, all hail Bunjie.